Since the Bears are on bye week, I thought it would be a good time to unveil a 2026 Bears mock draft. This is Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. We'll get to my projections in just a moment. Just of note, doing this through the PFF mock draft simulator, I did change the order based on reverse Super Bowl odds. So the Bears currently have like the 20th best chance, 21st best chance to win the Super Bowl. So 11th overall pick in this mock draft. So at 11 overall, I have the Bears selecting Keldrick Faulk, the defensive lineman out of Auburn, kind of an edge D-tack hybrid. I think in a Dennis Allen system, he would play primarily edge at 6'6", 285. Got a couple of sacks so far this year. I think he had 7 last year for Auburn. He's an excellent run defender as well. We know that's something that Allen prioritizes in his defenses. Be nice if Montez Sweat and Dio Adengbo would give more there, but that's neither here nor there. But the size profile fits what Dennis Allen prefers. Now, I don't know what his arm length is. We won't know that until the NFL Combine, but at that size, that profile, I'm guessing 33, 34, 35-inch arms, which, again, is another benefit to playing edge, especially in this scheme. He's probably a top 15-ish type of pick, so kind of right in the range of where he's projected to go at this point in time. So Keldrick Faulk out of Auburn could play some 3-tech as well, depending on how teams want to utilize him. All right, as of today, and I'm filming this late September, early October, depends on when this will get published when you watch it, but what's the biggest Bears positional need heading into 2026? You could say edge, you could say left tackle, you could say running back, safety. I think there's a couple different spots you could go with there. You guys let me know what you think the biggest need is. All right, round 2, pick number 43, and we're not doing any trades today, so I just want to get that out there. Caleb Tiernan, the left tackle out of Northwestern. A lot of you Bears fans probably familiar with him. This is his 3rd year starting at left tackle at Northwestern as a freshman. He started 5 games at right tackle as well, so has played a little bit on that side of the offensive line for the Wildcats. Grading out pretty well this year per PFF. Again, it's all a little subjective there. Graded a little better last year, actually, for the whole season, but obviously still early on here. He's got a good profile, 6'7", 325. From what I've seen, he seems to move pretty well. Also has only given up 1 sack and 3 pressures in, I think, 5 games so far this year, so that's pretty good for Tiernan. Obviously, Northwestern's got a nice little pipeline here the last few years. You got Rashawn Slater coming out of Northwestern, Skoronski, who kicked inside to guard for the Titans. He's having a nice little career as well, so they've pumped out a few pros on the offensive line. And look, what have we been talking about a lot lately? This left tackle situation, and Braxton Jones probably isn't even your starter anymore if that Brad Biggs report is right, and I'm sure it is. So the point is they may not have a long-term left tackle on the roster, which is disappointing because they drafted Ozzie Trapillo in the 2nd round. Maybe that changes. Maybe he becomes that guy. Maybe Theo Benedict does. It's not Braxton Jones. Could it be Darnell Wright? If the answer is you don't have one, well, you may have to draft one next year. And this time around, maybe you draft a guy who's actually played a lot of left tackle in college, unlike Ozzie Trapillo. All right, round 3, pick number 75, Justice Haynes, the Bama transfer who's been running wild for the University of Michigan this year. He's averaging over 8 yards per carry, and that's as a kind of physical between the tackles runner. This isn't, like you think those old Oregon teams like LaMichael James, who's just hitting home runs on the edge with his speed. Like, he's bouncing off dudes. He's averaging 4.71 yards after contact and has over 300 yards rushing after contact this year. He's been fantastic with his contact balance, and to me, he fits exactly what Ben Johnson wants as an in-between-the-tackles runner. He could be his version of David Montgomery in this offense next year and moving forward. 5'11", 210 pounds. He's got some elusiveness. He'll run you over. He'll bounce off you. He can catch the ball just well enough. You're probably not going to run, design plays to throw him the football, but check down games, some screen stuff, he can do that. You get him in here, have a scat back to pair with him. I think that's a pretty good pairing. Maybe Monangai can just be the 2 next to him. He's shown the ability to catch the ball. So I'm a big fan of Justice Haynes. And obviously we've talked a lot about Jeremiah Love as a potential first-round player, but I think you're going to have bigger needs. I think getting a key trenches player in the first round, maybe coming back 2nd, 3rd round and getting a running back could be the better path for Chicago. All right, we do have some more picks to make, but I want to tell you guys about our awesome sponsor first. That is Prize picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. I've been hitting a lot of lineups recently, playing a lot of Bears players too, and that's been working out, which was not the case last year. The way you play Prize Picks is simple. You pick more or less on player stat projections on 2 to 6 player lineups, and you are good to go. Certain lineups you can win up to 2,000 times your money. Prize Picks is also the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. If you want to pick more on Caleb Williams' pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns, you can do so right now in the same lineup, only on Prize Picks. I've got a little 2-player college football lineup this week. Diego Pavia, I like the more on his 19.5 rushing yards. We know he's going to run around. That's a goblin play, so those are a little easier to hit, but that was too juicy to not take. Took the less on Arch Manning's passing yards, 217.5. He played better in their last outing, is coming off a bye. Maybe he gets going a little bit here, but Florida's defense has been really good to start this year, so I like less than 217.5 for Arch. $20 entry to win $40 on that 2-player lineup. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, we jump into the 4th round here. A.J. Haulcy, the safety out of LSU. For the first time in a while, LSU feels like DBU again. They got a couple corners, Haulcy at safety. They got some guys who can really play. He's a physical player who can also cover. He's like 6'1", 215. He's got a pick TFL this year. Doesn't mind mixing it up and run support, which you certainly like. And look, you're probably going to have to add a safety at some point because all 4 of your safeties are free agents for next year. None of these guys are under contract beyond this year. Now, I said before the season, likely one of Jaquan Brisker or Kevin Byard, you'd like to at least bring back one of those guys. That way you don't have to replace both your starting safeties, and then maybe you bring back one of the backups too. So then you have one starter, one backup, and then maybe you sign a cheap 4th guy to be your 4th safety, and then you draft your other starter. And I think Haulcy could be a starter in the 3rd or the 4th round. I don't think it's very likely that both Brisker and Byard return. I don't think they would go multiple-year contracts with either of those guys. Brisker, given his concussion history, and Byard, he said himself he's year-to-year at this point. So, look, if he plays like he did last week, if he wants to come back, 1-year deal, $6-7 million, wouldn't have a problem with that. But Brisker might seek a multi-year deal, and that could get him squeezed out of Chicago. We'll see how that plays out. But regardless, they're likely going to need to add a safety somewhere, somehow, some way. Okay, 5th round now. Trey Moore, the linebacker out of Texas. Kind of a linebacker edge hybrid. He played some edge at UTSA a few years ago before he transferred in, and he's been a really productive college player. I mean, obviously when he was playing at UTSA, he was just dominating, which is why Texas came calling and he transferred. 22 sacks in those 2 years, 22 and 23 for the Roadrunners. Pretty solid year last year as a contributor, 5.5 sacks, 10 TFLs. Statistically off to a relatively slow start this year, but still a solid member of that Texas defense. Obviously, big jump in competition. I think he's, somewhere in day 3 here. Like, I don't think he's going to be a dominant NFL player like he was at the Conference USA level, but can he be a rotation linebacker? Can he be like a blitzing downhill player? Because that's really kind of his profile, 6'2", 245, 250. He honestly reminds me a lot of Noah Sewell, who did a little bit of off-ball and edge at Oregon. When he's playing downhill, and we've seen it this year, Noah Sewell's a pretty effective player. He's good in run support. If you want to bring him on blitzes, he can do that. Not very good in coverage. Neither is Trey Moore. They're very similar in terms of what their profiles were coming out of college. So, you've got Tremaine Edmonds, who could be a cut candidate this offseason. TJ's been banged up this year. He's getting a little older. Ruben Hippolyte, we'll see what his role is moving forward. Noah Sewell is entering a contract year next year. So you could just need another piece there in that linebacker room. And that's why I went with Moore here in the 5th round. All right, subscribe to the channel if you want more Bears mock drafts. We could mix them in every once in a while. This is our first one this year, technically our second, because we always do our way too early one after the most recent draft. But this is the first one we've done since the season has started. If you want us to mix them in every few weeks, we can do so. Luckily this year, we're not doing it due to an awful start, because we've been there many times here on this channel. So, but we can mix them in every few weeks if you want. Let us know. Subscribe if that's something you want to see. All right, we'll go rapid fire for these last few picks here. Albert Regis, the defensive tackle out of Texas A&M, honestly reminds me a lot of Andrew Billings. 6 foot, 6'1", 320, kind of just a bowling ball that can stuff the run. He's certainly a situational player. He's not going to do much as a pass rusher, but don't mind the value there in the 6th round. How about Evan Stewart? I don't know where he's going to go. Is he going to get a medical redshirt to go back to college? He's missing this entire season with the torn ACL, so could he go back to Oregon? But if he declares, I have no idea when he's going to go. And full disclosure, especially you get onto day 3, these mock simulators, in September, October, they're going to look a lot different when we get closer to the draft. So I have no clear answer on Stewart's value, but certainly could be possible you get him this late coming off a torn ACL. So wouldn't mind taking a swing there. I was excited about him this year before he got injured. Then how about this? Dominic Zvada, the kicker out of Michigan. And I am anti-team drafting kickers typically, but this is a compensatory 7th-round draft pick. I don't mind it in the 7th. And, Jake Moody, who was the last Michigan kicker, who ironically is on the Bears practice squad, has not worked out up to this point in the NFL. The 49ers had to cut him. Bears bring him in. They're trying to develop him off to the side. But if he doesn't develop, I think at minimum you need to bring in competition next year. Now, I've said it, and we saw it last week. Cairo Santos, when you're in range, is a very steady and reliable kicker. The problem with him is you can't try from beyond 55, 56, really. And with the kickers you're seeing around the league these days, hell, the Cowboys settle for like 63-yarders sometimes. I'm not expecting that, but can't attempt a 58-yard field goal in a dome against the Raiders this past week. 85% of kickers are attempting that at least. May not make it, but they at least have the leg to do that. And Zvada has that. He's got a big leg, and he's been very accurate as well. 87% guy in college, 4-year starter, 2 years at Arkansas State. Now the past 2 years at Michigan, he's got a long of 56, which he made earlier this year, but it cleared by about 5-7 yards. He's got a big leg, and he's very accurate. That was the thing about Moody coming out. He's like 81, 82%. That's not a great clip. 87, though, that's above NFL average. So if he could be 85 plus and have a big leg in the NFL, 250th pick in the draft, I wouldn't mind taking a swing there, bringing him in for competition if nothing else. So I do think kicker is something to kind of think about after this season as a potential area to add competition or maybe even upgrade from Cairo Santos. All right, there you go. That is my 2026 Bears mock draft. Let me know how we did. A, B, C, D, or F. Drop a letter grade down in the comments below. That's going to do it for this episode of Chicago Bears Now. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're publishing daily content, even during the bye week here, so do not miss out. We'll see you guys soon. Bear down.